Hey guys, it's Sam, and welcome to Caps Lock, a podcast designed to help you live bigger, better, louder, and longer. Before we get started, I just want to thank you guys for listening and for giving this a chance and for coming here in pursuit of your best self. This is a space where we are going to grow together, and my hope is that you go forward confidently, unapologetically, and with purpose. It's time to live your life in Caps Lock. If that mission feels aligned for you, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and let's dive in. Sidebar for a sec, it's Mother's Day season, which personally I celebrate all year round because moms deserve way more than just a day. And I wanted to take a minute today to thank all the moms out there for everything they do for us, especially my mom, because there is no me without you. Function Health just released a book called Long Live Moms as a reminder that moms need to take care of themselves too. I really loved this excerpt from the book, so I'm just going to read you a quick piece of it. Moms know sacrifice, love stitched tight. They toil, the grit, the sleepless nights. They hold the world yet stand unseen, the quiet force in between. The keepers of the scraped up knees, the magic hands that calm the seas. But wise are moms who pause, who see that caring starts with caring for me. A body strong, a breath drawn deep, a heart that beats, a soul to keep. The years move fast, yet love remains, a bond unbroken, thread through veins. So long live the ones who teach us how to love ourselves, to live well now. Long live the hearts, the wisdom, the care. Long live moms everywhere. If you are a mom or have a mother figure in your life, I'm sure this poem resonates. I feel like it's such a powerful reflection of the sacrifices a mother makes and the love and joy they bring into the world. I literally had to record this twice because I got choked up reading it the first time. If you don't know Function Health, it's an all-in-one health platform that helps you take control of your health through data. Instead of guessing what's happening inside your body, Function helps you know for sure, providing access to 100+ advanced lab tests. These tests include insights into thyroid function, hormones, liver health, heart health, autoimmunity, kidney function, nutrient levels, heavy metal toxicity, immune system, electrolytes, and more. With Function, your first set of tests helps establish a baseline of your health, giving you a starting point to compare future tests against. This makes it easy to spot changes, even subtle ones, and address them proactively. For all my moms out there, Function Health is the best way to care for you so you can continue to care for them. Get Function Health's Long Live Moms book for free at functionhealth.com/capslock and learn more about how Function Health can help you take better care of you. That's functionhealth.com/capslock. Very early on in my podcasting journey, I decided to get super vulnerable with you guys about my sober curious journey. If you haven't listened to that episode, I strongly recommend listening to it before this one because I'm not going to rehash why I decided to stop drinking, how I stopped drinking, but there has been a lot of follow-up talk about it. I was shocked and so excited about your guys' response to it. My Sober Curious episode is my most listened to episode by more than 120%. That's crazy, you guys. And it just says to me that you want to talk about it and you want to hear more about it. And every time I go on social and post about it, I get hundreds of DMs, hundreds of questions. A lot of you guys are exploring sober, curious journeys for yourselves. A lot of you guys are kind of exploring your own personal relationships, not just to alcohol, but actually to all kinds of mind-altering substances. And as a result, I just figured it would be a good time, now that we're a couple months out from that episode, to do like a formal kind of Q&A episode about my journey. And this is also really fun timing because the day you are listening to this is my 1-year anniversary from when I officially stopped drinking alcohol. I've learned a lot over the last year, and this sober curious journey has changed my life for the better, and I really don't see a future where I start drinking again. I never thought I was going to be the person who stopped drinking. I thought that either my relationship to alcohol was normal and everyone who drinks like has major anxiety and feels like shit at least once a week and like acts stupid more often than not. So there was kind of that part of my brain where I was like, this is normal and like everyone just chooses this and like that's the price you pay to ride the ride and like be a part of the social world. Or I thought like I could drink less. And there were definitely times when I could drink less. I never really had an issue where every time I drank, I couldn't stop drinking. But I don't know what it was. And I talked about this in the last episode where, like, I would have this plan for a night where I'd be like, we're going to go to this concert and we're going to have the best night ever. And because I wanted to have the best night ever, I would drink a ton and like encourage everyone around me to drink a ton, thinking that like that getting really drunk was the equivalent to having a really good night. And inevitably, it would turn into a total shit show and like ruin the night. So I never really thought I was going to be the person who stopped drinking. And I definitely never thought I would be the person who encouraged other people to stop drinking. But the more I experience life without alcohol, the better my life becomes. And the more strongly I feel that we were all totally bamboozled into drinking alcohol at all, especially once you start diving into like the health risks, things like cancer, just from drinking alcohol. It really makes you never want to drink again. So, anyway, this episode is going to be a little bit chatty just because I'm going pretty much off the cuff with questions that you guys submitted on social. I actually got hundreds of submissions for I think it might have been over 1,000. I was trying to count and I lost track, but a lot of the questions were repeats, and so I kind of got to know some patterns of what you guys were looking for. So I'm gonna answer your questions in the order that I wrote them down in. And again, if you wanna learn more about why I stopped drinking, we are not really gonna talk about that today, but I do strongly recommend you listen to the Sober Curious episode I put out early on in the podcasting journey. It's episode number 4. So I would go all the way back, sort from like oldest episodes to newest, and let's do the episode. I do want to note here up front in the beginning of this episode that I'm not in recovery, which you will know if you listen to my Sober Curious episode before. If you think you're experiencing substance abuse disorder, this episode and these tips are probably not for you. And my recommendation would be to seek a different kind of counseling or different kind of advice that is specifically designed for people with substance abuse disorder. This episode and these tips are mostly for people who are sober curious, who are interested in removing alcohol as a lifestyle choice. And I think a lot of this advice doesn't apply to people who are experiencing alcoholism or substance abuse disorder. So please move forward accordingly. And as always, like do what's best for your specific situation. The first question I got is, have you had any friends or family pressure you to drink with them? I do all the time, and I often cave. This is crazy to me. I have not had anyone pressure me to drink with them since I stopped drinking. I think people like me better when I'm not drinking, and I think I just have a different kind of place in their lives. Like, I didn't lose friends when I stopped drinking, but those friends no longer come to me when they wanna go out drinking. Like, for example, I have friends who I used to go to, like, house music concerts with or, like, live shows like that with where everyone's doing drugs and, like, everyone's drinking, and those are literally my friends I, like, work out with now, you know? And I also think that they have seen me when I was drinking, and they have seen me and experienced me when I was not drinking, and I'm gonna go ahead and guess that they like the change that I've made and that it makes me a better friend and a better person and more fun to be around. So, I haven't had anyone pressure me to drink with them. If anyone has even, like, talked to me about it, it's been really supportive. And also, a lot of those people are like, "Oh, maybe I'll, like, do dry January with you this year and, like, see what I think." And I think that's so cool because it says to me that I'm changing for the better, and they see that, and they're like, "Huh, I wonder if that might change me for the better." And I don't think it would harm anyone to take a couple weeks off of alcohol and just, like, see how they feel. It won't hurt, I'll tell you that much. That said, I think if anyone is pressuring you to drink with them, I think that's really weird of them. And if you wanna navigate it, my recommendation would be to have, like, a little bit of a serious tone with them before you meet up with them in person. This could be by text. I think that's probably, like, the easiest, most accessible way to approach it. Another thing is that, like, when you say something serious to someone, it doesn't have to be this, like, grave sit down with, like, a deep tone. Like, it can just be earnest. You know what I mean? Like, almost everything I say on this show is earnest, but it's not like, "Hey, I'm gonna sit you down and hold your hand while I tell you this, and I'm gonna look into your eyes, and we're gonna have, like, an emotionally resonant moment about it." Like, that's weird. You don't have to do that. I think you can text maybe it's, like, your aunt who's always, like, wasted on wine, and she's like, "Just have a drink with me. Just have a drink." God, when you're sober, nothing makes you wanna stay sober more than a drunk family member. They are so annoying and a lot of times, like, act really inappropriately, and sometimes with your friends, you can let that go, but for whatever reason, when it's your family, you wanna punch them in the face, and nothing will make you wanna be sober more than that. I would just maybe reach out to her before and say, "Hey, like, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I'm not drinking right now. And I just want to let you know because, we have that barbecue coming up and I think everyone's going to be drinking. And I would just really appreciate your support and let you know that I'm not going to be drinking. And I think I like myself better this way. Or maybe it's like, I am doing it for my health. I'm taking a couple weeks off to see how I feel or whatever it is, you can just shoot them a lighthearted text and be like, I'm really proud of myself. Like I've made it this far and I don't want to stop just because we have that barbecue in a couple weeks. Can I count on you to support me? If someone receives that message from you and they push back on it, that's fucking weird. And at that point, that person needs to examine their relationship with alcohol and that's not your job to like tell them that. But I will say if someone pushes back on you too many times and they're not taking no for an answer, this mostly happens when someone's already drunk, by the way. Like you'll be out and someone who's wasted will want you to join them. If they do that too many times, feel free to ask them why it's so important to them that you get drunk. Ask them. It doesn't have to be confrontational. It can just be like, why do you want me to do that? Like, I'm so proud of myself for not drinking right now. Like, why would you want me to mess that up? And let them feel however they're gonna feel as a result. Also, a tip that I have used myself in the past is, like, if someone is being truly insufferable and you know in advance they're gonna be so insufferable and, like, not let it go that you're not drinking, drink a seltzer with lime. I've never been asked why I'm not drinking while I was holding a seltzer with lime. It looks like a vodka soda or a tequila soda, and no one asks questions. Ask if you're at, like, a bar, ask the bartender to get you a club soda with lime and put it in, like, a cocktail glass. And, like, the bartenders get it. The bartenders are your friends. I have never met a bartender who was, like, rude to me or not supportive of me not drinking alcohol. So, that's my advice for that. Next question is how do you overcome the pressure to drink when you're out to dinner with friends? For example, when people keep ordering drinks and adding to the tab. In my opinion, this is actually two separate questions, so I'm going to separate it. If you are feeling like left out from a drinking dinner, or you feel like there's like pressure to partake in the act of drinking at dinner, order a fun drink. Order yourself a Diet Coke. I prefer a full sugar Coke, but that's just me. Order a Shirley Temple if you're feeling silly. If people are doing shots, this is a question I get a lot, is like, I feel so left out when my friends take shots without me. Like, it'll be like 10 of us and 9 people are cheersing a shot and you, like, don't have anything or you're cheersing, like, a water bottle, and it feels weird. If you're at a restaurant, especially, or if you're at a bar, ask for a non-alcoholic shot. They'll ask you what you want. You can say, like, ginger ale. You can say, like, soda, you can say water, say whatever you want. Say lemonade, I don't care. But it's actually fun to partake in, like, the act of a shot. Just don't drink alcohol. That's okay. And again, like I said in the beginning, I'm not in recovery. This is not a good tip if you are in recovery. And in fact, I wouldn't take any of these tips as Bible if you are in a recovery program. I would seek counseling or help or support or community in a group of people who are also in recovery, if that is something that you're experiencing, because this is for people who are sober curious, who remove alcohol as a lifestyle choice. I don't think it's my guess is it's probably not healthy to, like, quote, "take a shot," even of a non-alcoholic substance if you're in recovery. Now, the second question in within this question, like, when I'm separating these 2 is when people keep adding alcohol to the tab, like, how do you navigate that? I have 2 different approaches to this. I think there are times when you're at a dinner and, like, some people are drinking and some people are not, and they have maybe 1 or 2 glasses of wine. In that scenario, I split the bill evenly. I'm not gonna cause a scene for the extra, like, $6 or $7 it adds to my bill. Again, to me, that's the price you pay for, like, riding the ride. Like, I'm choosing not to drink, I'm choosing to socialize with you. That $7 is not gonna make or break me, and I'm happy to split the bill so that we're not, like, making it weird. That said, it does add up, and if it's getting crazy when you're out or, like, people are ordering bottles or you're on, like they're on their 4th round of espresso martinis, and now you're adding, like, 30, 50, like, $70 to your bill, that's not appropriate, and I think there are 2 different ways I would approach this, in my opinion. The first is text at least one person beforehand and be like, "As you know, I don't drink. I know the gang is gonna be, like, drinking and partying tonight, and I'd rather not pay for other people's drinks. Do you think you can help me sort it out in advance so that I'm not paying for the alcohol?" I can't imagine anyone saying no to that, and if anyone says no to that and, like, refuses to be on your team there, they're not your friend and stop going out with them. That's insane. And then the other way I would approach this is if you're in the moment, maybe it's like spontaneous that everyone's drinking and they weren't expecting to, or maybe you just like didn't have someone who you felt like you could like say it to in advance, or maybe you like didn't really think of it, whatever it is. I think it doesn't have to be a big deal in the moment and just be like, hey, I didn't drink tonight and you guys are wasted. Any chance we can split the bill accordingly? That is quite literally a chill sentence to say. And there are so many ways to do this. Like one person can pay the bill and people can Venmo them. You can do a Venmo group. It's really easy to do that now where you like everyone gets charged differently based on like what they had. It's really interesting. I learned about this on a bachelorette recently. So I think that's a great tip. You can ask for a separate check. You can ask the waiter to put the alcohol on a separate check and like the rest of the group can split that check. There are tons of ways to do this. I think overall my approach would be just like be earnest. Again, be earnest and upfront with your friends. Be like, I'm on a not drinking journey. It's important to me to like be responsible about my finances. And I lately have been spending a lot of money and I don't want to pay for like an extra $50 of other people's drinks. Can you help me out? Again, if someone is not going to help you out, they are not your friend. So I think that's how I would approach it. Next question. How do you fight the FOMO when staying in seems boring? Girly pop, make some plans. Just because you don't drink does not mean you can't go out. I am always outside. I'm outside of the house every moment of the day. There are a million things you can do that are totally not focused on alcohol, right? Like evening activities. I go for hot girl walks at night all the time. I live in New York City, so it's a particularly wonderful place to go on outside nighttime walks. I do this with a friend for safety and also for added fun. And also, you would be surprised how many people like do not have plans on like a Friday or Saturday. I know when you're like looking on Instagram and TikTok, it seems like, oh my God, everyone's out on a Friday or Saturday night and I don't have plans. I'm anxious. Like, I'm a loser. Like, I have no friends. Girl, you wouldn't believe how many people would be so excited to get a text on a Friday at like 5 p.m. being like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Like, I don't have plans tonight and I don't really want to drink. Oh my God. I've been sending that text a lot lately. I've sent it to probably like 15 people in the last month. And every single person, save for like 1 or 2 who are like out of town or have plans already, is stoked. Like everyone who's available is like, yes, that is exactly what I want to do. That's so fun. Go for a walk, get ice cream. You could see a movie. You could take a class. Like, honestly, I want to take dance classes again. I was a dancer in high school and I want to like go take dance classes again at Broadway Dance. So if anyone wants to do that with me, hit me in the DMs, my former dance girlies. Go to a show, organize a night in with friends. Honestly, some of my best nights of my like adult life have been staying in with my friends. Even if it's to like watch a show that you guys like to watch together or pick a movie that you guys all want to see or play games. Game night is elite. Get takeout, like cook, whatever. I think nights in are really fun. You could do a workout class. This is a really easy one to do because you can do it by yourself. There are totally workout classes at like 6 p.m. on a Friday. And even if you have no plans after that, just the fact that you were like out in the PM hours makes you feel like productive and like you've done something. Another thing that I think is, again, not a tip for people with substance abuse disorder, but a tip for sober curious girlies is like bars and clubs can be fun without alcohol. Like I love music, I love to dance. So I will go to a full nightclub with no alcohol. I actually did this back when I was drinking sometimes. Like if there was one night when I didn't want to drink, I would drink those very expensive Fiji waters at the club in that bucket that cost $80 of Fiji water, and the whole water bucket would be for me because my friends were drinking vodka or tequila, and I would just like drink water. And this is great because I don't have social anxiety really, but it's fun to dance and sing and listen to music. And if you're with the right people, you don't need to have social anxiety about that. Same with bars. My preference for a bar is like the kind where you can actually hear each other speak and like a more low key bar where you can have conversations. I think there are people out there who use alcohol as like a social lubricant, and so they're more social when they drink alcohol, and that can actually benefit you because if you're there sober and like those people are feeling extra chatty because they've had a drink or two, like that's great. Cool. Like go to a bar where you can talk to people. So I don't think you need to like totally avoid that, and I don't think you need to have FOMO. Like make plans, make your own plans, or join your friends and just don't drink. I think those are options for you if you don't feel like you have a dependence issue and you are having a sober-free lifestyle by choice. So, that's my advice. Do you smoke weed or do any other recreational drugs? No. My sober curious journey is I am sober from all mind-altering substances. I have never liked weed, and if you wanna hear more about that, I do have an episode on weed where I talk a little bit about my personal journey, and then I also talk about, like, health benefits, health risks of smoking weed. If you look that up in the search bar on my page, you'll find it. So I've never liked weed. It's always made me paranoid and anxious, and, like, I have baseline, like, a little bit of, like, anxiety tendencies, so, like, it's not for me. I loved a chocolate mushroom back in the day. I just, like, am not really in the mind-altering substances era of my life. And someone asked me if I consider people who smoke weed but don't drink sober. They're like, "Do you believe in people who say they're sober, but they still, like, smoke weed?" I think sobriety looks different for everybody, and it depends on your personal journey, your preferences, and also it depends if you have substance abuse disorder or if you're choosing it for lifestyle reasons. I think sobriety is really fluid. It is my personal journey that I don't really like mind altering substances in general for me. So I don't smoke weed or do other recreational drugs. I have found that people who choose to remove alcohol from their lives for the reasons I did, which is like anxiety, not feeling well, and wanting to feel in control of your mind and body, like choosing mental clarity, like those people tend not to like anything that changes their state of mind. So that's just like my personal journey. How did your routine change when you stopped using alcohol? This is a really big one that I will shout from the rooftops. I have been able to become a morning person and actually have like productive mornings. Even if I wasn't hungover in the morning, I had a pretty fucked up sleep and wake schedule when I was drinking without even realizing it. It wasn't like, oh my God, on the night I drink, I go to bed at 2 a.m. and then I wake up at like 10 a.m. and I feel like shit and my morning's ruined. Like that was true. But also, even on the days, like the weekdays, I wasn't sleeping as well, wasn't waking as energized, was not having as productive mornings. Like I was overall, I had this kind of lethargic approach to my life in the day that I didn't even know was there because it was just kind of like this fog. I also had brain fog for sure that I like didn't even realize. It's all very like to me the change was happened very gradually and very subtly, but now looking back it feels so dramatic. I'm like, Oh my god, like, I literally didn't do morning workouts when I was drinking because I had tiredness in the morning. I was lethargic in the morning. I had, like, less consistent and less quality sleep when I was drinking as a whole, even though I was just drinking, like, on weekends mostly. So that was really interesting. I think becoming a morning person, the ability to become a morning person, I literally never thought that would be me, and now it is happening for me, and I think not drinking is a huge, huge, huge part of that. If you are interested in becoming a morning person, again, go to my search bar and type in how to become a morning person. I did an episode on that and you guys loved it. You guys talk about that episode all the time to me. It is like my second best episode after the Sober Curious one. So that's huge. Again, kind of hand in hand with that, I think I have more consistent sleep and earlier bedtimes, which is great for me. It literally reduces your biological age is one of the it is one of the top contributing factors to your physiological biological age, and the aging process and longevity is sleep. And again, I didn't even realize how much worse my sleep was when had a lifestyle where I was drinking. So those are kind of the biggest changes to my, like, day-to-day routine and experience. And then the next question is, do you really feel better health-wise when you're not drinking, or do people just say that? I fear the answer is such a big yes. Again, I basically thought the way I was living was normal. And I wanna be really clear that I was not drinking more than the average girly pop. I wasn't drinking alone, I wasn't drinking in the morning, I wasn't drinking, like, every single day, I wasn't even drinking 3 times a week. I would maybe drink, like, once a week, like, go out at night, or, like, maybe a little day drink at brunch, or, like, have a glass of wine at dinner with a friend on a Tuesday. Like, I was drinking a normal amount, and now 1 year out from stopping, the brain fog is gone, people. I am mentally sharp and clear all the time, and the now the change feels so dramatic that I, like, can't believe that everyone lives like that and feels like it's normal. Like, you think you're sharp and clear most of the time, and then a year after you stop drinking, you're like, "Holy shit, I had no idea what I was missing out on." So that's huge. Another thing is, like, I think the skin on your face a lot of times is a reflection of what's going on inside your body, and to me, my health comes through my skin. Like, my skin used to be pretty dull, like, I never felt like I had a glow. People tell me all the time that my skin is glowing. Also this year, I went off of spironolactone, and we'll talk more about skin later because someone asked specifically about skin. I went off of spironolactone because I went to see my holistic doctor who did study medicine and is a real doctor and left traditional healthcare to pursue alternative medicine, and we took me off spironolactone because he was like, you went on for hormonal acne when you were like 16. Your hormones are probably really different now at age 26. So I think we should try weaning you off of it and just see how your body reacts and see if you still need to be on it. And if you do, that's fine. Like we can go back on it. But we kind of just didn't want me to be taking any medications that I don't need because if you're not familiar with it, spironolactone affects your blood pressure, your potassium levels. It's diuretic, so it, like, helps you release excess water. Like, it does all these other things, and he was like, "I don't think we just need to be altering your" it also affects your hormones and, like, all kinds of stuff. So he was like, "I just don't think you need to be on a medication, like, for skin, if your skin doesn't need it, and you haven't been off of it in 10 years, so we don't even know if you still need it, so let's take you off." And I went off of it, and you guys, I wish you could if you're listening, I wish you could see my face right now. Like, my skin has been, kid you not, flawless. It might even be better than when I was on spironolactone, and I just don't think it's a coincidence that I'm also not drinking. So, I think that's huge. Like, I was drinking when I was on spironolactone, and the fact that I think my skin is better after going off, probably not just the spironolactone, because 99% of people who take it, their skin gets better when they're on it. If my skin, I think, literally got better, and the quality of my skin, not just the acne, I think it's probably also related to the alcohol, because that's the only other, like, enormous lifestyle change I've made. Also, again, I think my workouts are better. I am at, like, my peak performance in the morning now when I couldn't do that before. Like, I was not a morning workout girl. I worked out at, like, 3 or 4 PM because I worked from home and I would just like take an hour and knock out a workout. And I just really prefer working out in the morning and I feel stronger in my workouts and more able to do them. I think I have like more power, if that makes sense. And then also another thing I want to talk about quickly here, and we'll talk about it again because I have another question of someone asking, do you feel like you've lost weight since you stopped drinking? Your body is not really able to effectively burn fat while alcohol is in your system because when there's alcohol in your system, your body prioritizes metabolizing that. And so that alcohol is prioritized over fat. So you're actually not burning fat effectively, at least. Like you might be burning a little bit, but you're not burning fat effectively and you're not burning fat first when there's alcohol in your system. And alcohol, as we know, stays in your system after you're done being drunk. So it's like from the moment you start drinking to like the moment the alcohol leaves your system. And so if you're drinking like 2 or 3 nights a week, you are literally not burning fat for half of your life, even if you're working out. So I just think that's interesting. And overall, yes, the answer is I do really feel better health wise when I'm not drinking. Did you just go cold turkey? Pretty much, yes. If you listen to the Sober Curious episode, I had a traumatizing experience. That was kind of my like last straw. I had done dry January before. I really liked how I felt, but I would always kind of get peer pressured back into drinking and just like feeling like the FOMO and the social anxiety would always win. And after that kind of traumatizing experience I had, which I talk about in detail in the other episode, I have just decided like not to let those things win. Why should social anxiety have power over me? Why should I feel like I need to drink to fit in? Those are not my people. If you don't fit in with them in your baseline state of mind, you only fit in with them when you have an altered personality and state of mind. They're not your people. Right. And so the traumatizing experience was kind of just my last straw. And after that, I think I had like a cup, like 1 or 2 glasses of wine at like a friend's birthday party, maybe a couple weeks after that when I was done with the anxiety. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll try again. And it just did not hit the same. After that, it kind of just like ruined drinking for me. Like I was like, doesn't feel fun anymore. I'm more, like, uncomfortable and anxious in this different state of mind, and I just don't think it's for me. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but that is my experience. Someone wrote in, "I'm sober curious, stopped drinking 1 year ago, 32 and single. Advice for first dates?" I love this question because I think dating sober is a super important topic. It's something that people don't talk about enough because I think dating is one of the reasons we girlies in our 20s drink so much. Like every date, it feels like, is let's get drinks. And that is something that I want to change. Like, I wonder if there's a bigger way to approach that. Like, maybe I'll start something. Let's talk about that more because I think sober dating is huge. I think that for me, at least, like, I'm better at dating and I'm happier dating when I'm sober. Like, you get to know the person better, you know how you feel about them. You are really clear on, like, how it went, how you feel. And I started dating my boyfriend sober. All of our dates in the beginning, I have never had a drink in the amount of time we've been dating. And so I feel like our relationship's really healthy, and I had a really clear idea of what I wanted, how it was going, how I felt about him, how I felt about myself with him. And so I actually prefer sober dating. And so my advice for first dates, if you're sober curious and you're not drinking and you want to go on these dates sober. The first one is no matter what the date is, go for a walk at the end. Here's why. I think it's easier to be vulnerable and talk about more serious things when you're not looking into each other's eyes. And I don't think it's a cop out because I think this is a nice way to ease into it and kind of like build up to having more vulnerability and more serious conversations in like an eye contact, like face to face scenario. But like, say you go to dinner and you're not drinking, maybe the other person is or isn't drinking, doesn't matter. You're getting to know each other and Sure, it's, like, a little bit awkward, like, a lot of these times you're meeting a stranger for the first time and spending, like, quality time with someone that you don't really know anything about, so it makes sense to me that you might be a little bit uncomfortable. But when you're walking side by side, like parallel, and so you're facing forward, you are able to like turn your head and talk directly to them. But there's something about kind of just like talking into the open air with this person next to you where it's like, yeah, I'm talking to you, but maybe it feels a little bit less claustrophobic and intense. And it feels like there's a little bit less attention on you when you're like speaking into the world and that person's next to you, as opposed to, like, it's very intimate and close quarters and you're speaking, like, into their soul. So I would go for a walk at the end. I also think the whole date can be a walk if you want. Like, maybe it's like you grab coffee and go for a walk, right? I think it's a really nice way to kinda ease into that, and I think it's underrated. So either go for the walk at the end of the date or make the date a walk. I really am into that for a first date. Another option is before the date, have a friend come over and hang out with you while you get ready. I feel my best and like I am myself the most when I'm surrounded by like my best friends. And if it's like a Thursday and you have a date and maybe you're like a little nervous, maybe they're from an app, you literally don't know them at all, have your best friend come over, even if it's just for like 30 minutes or an hour and hang out while you get ready. Just like being around that person like calms your nervous system. It gets you like talking so that you're not, oh my God, I've just been alone at my desk all day and now I'm gonna like raw dog talking for 2 hours with a stranger. Like that's crazy, right? So I love having a friend over beforehand. I think daytime dates are great if you are not drinking. Nighttime dates always circle back to alcohol. Like, it's like we're gonna get drinks, we're gonna have dinner and get wine. Oh, even if we have dinner, like maybe we'll wanna get a drink afterwards. I just find that nighttime dates are like so closely associated with alcohol. I think a daytime date is so fun. I have been on a date before where we went to take a workout class together. We went to Barry's together. And so, like, you talk a little bit beforehand. It's, like, maybe a little awkward for those first, like, 5 minutes before the class. Then you take the class, and you're, like, sweating together, and it's fun, and you're, like, a little competitive with each other, and you're, like, chatting. And then afterwards, if you liked the person's vibe, you could be like, "Let's go get a coffee," or "Let's go get a smoothie." Incorporates the walk. People, I love the walk. And then you, like, have a little bit of quality time where you can actually have a conversation over the smoothie or the coffee or whatever. So, love a daytime date. Another thing is, I think it's important to remember that there's nothing to be nervous about. If you're I like to zoom out. You and this other person on the date are just 2 people looking for your person in this world, and if you're dating intentionally, you usually know pretty quickly if you like them or not. And, like, the same way that you're worried about, "Do they like me? Do they like me?" They're wearing the same thing. And I would argue it's actually more important for you to decide if you like them. So, like, what are we nervous about? It's like trying a new coffee order at your coffee shop. Like, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous. I've never had this coffee before." Okay, if you don't like the coffee, get a different one when you're done. Oh, you don't like it? Don't have that coffee again, right? Like, zoom out. It's a little bit awkward to, like, hang out with strangers, and it not every day is gonna be great, but, like, it doesn't matter, and who cares if they like you? It's so existential, but it really helps me. Like, zoom out. It doesn't fucking matter. It's so casual. Like, have a good time, get to know someone. If you don't really like them, don't see them again. If you do really like them, see them again. That's it. That's the whole thing of dating. And I think we make it so complicated and we like put so much pressure on it. I don't think it has to be that way. And then the last thing I'll say is that if they are not into you being sober curious and not drinking, they are 100% not someone that you can be with. Because if your first experience of them is them negging something that's important to you, that is not going to get better over time. They are immediately, baseline from a character standpoint, not someone who can be supportive of something that they don't understand. We don't date people like that. Okay. Oh, I will actually also say one other thing, which is that before I met my boyfriend, I went on a date with a guy, and I had 1 drink. This was back when I was drinking. I had 1 martini on the date that I sipped throughout the whole date, and he got wasted. He was, like, 6'6". He was a big dude, so I was like, "Oh, maybe he just, like, doesn't get that drunk." He had, like, 7 martinis, and he was so drunk, And when he got drunk, he got, like, so comfortable, like, touching me and being, like, close to me and, like, trying to make out with me. Like, it was way too much, and it was the biggest turn off of all time. So, I don't know, like, think about that. That helps me a lot too. It's like, "Oh my god, that was, like, really a horrible date, and I never wanted to see that man again." So, you're better when you're not acting like that. If someone else is acting like that, you don't wanna be around them. Win-win. Do you ever miss drinking at concerts or big party type events? My answer to this might surprise you because it's yes. Sometimes when I'm at a concert or like we do an annual karaoke party for my mom's birthday, which is hilarious and a whole different story. There are times like that when everyone's drinking, everyone's having a good time, and in the moment you're like, "Oh my god, I would just love an espresso martini right now," or "I would love a cold glass of rosé," or "I would love a vodka soda." However, if you wait long enough you always change your mind. By the end of the night, at least one person is acting so stupid that you're like, I'm so glad I'm not like that. And also, to me, literally nothing is worth the anxiety and the way you feel afterwards. I have never missed alcohol enough to put myself through that again. So, yeah, sometimes in the moment, I do miss it, but I am making choices for, like, tomorrow Sam and not, like, right now Sam, if that makes sense. There's actually some information out there, some research out there that people who are able to think about delayed rewards, like, think critically about that and, like, choosing a larger reward that comes later over a smaller reward that comes instantly. There's some research about, like, why that's better. Um, but anyway, yeah, I miss it sometimes, but not enough to do it. Do you like to drink mocktails? If so, what are your favorites? Not really. I'm brutally offended that mocktails cost $18. They're mostly like ginger ale, juice, seltzer, lime. Like, why is that the same price as alcohol? I think most of them are a scam. It's the same reason I'm not into, like, specialty sodas and, like, specialty beverages. Like, I drink water mostly, to be honest, or, like, an unsweetened iced tea. Sometimes a ginger ale, if I'm at a bar, ginger ale really hits. Sometimes, I guess, if there's, like, a spritzy type one with, like I love, like, a blackberry ginger ale type situation with a little maybe cucumber, a little lime, but, like, I'm really 99% I'm not drinking these. Someone said your skin is glowing. Do you think alcohol-free plays a role in that? Yes. We talked about it earlier. I think my skin is the best it's ever been, and I think that's due in large part to the fact that I stopped drinking. But also, like I said earlier, not drinking affects other things that affect your skin. So, like, for example, my sleep overall being better, that affects your skin so dramatically as well. Also, I said we had a question about whether I think going alcohol free has impacted my weight. And the answer is yes. And it's one of the same reasons that I think it's impacting my skin, which is twofold. One, I'm not perpetually dehydrated. And two, I have far less inflammation in my body. So, again, both things, my skin and my weight benefit from that. And then moving into the weight question more, there were definitely times in my life when I was smaller and more ripped and like whatever you want to say because I was insane and I pushed myself too hard and too far. But right now, I would actually say I'm not in very good shape. Like, we've been traveling so much that I have not been able to stick to a routine. My gym membership expired and I didn't re up it because I was traveling. And so I haven't been to the gym in like weeks. My gym membership starts again tomorrow for anyone who's worried about me. I'm back. But I am saying this because I feel like I'm out of shape right now, and a lot of my clothes are too big on me, and I just ordered some stuff for my upcoming trip from this website that I've ordered from a million times, and I ordered my usual sizes, and they're too big on me. And I don't think it's because I've, like, lost weight or I'm, like, changing the shape and size of my body. I think it's because I'm not fucking inflamed anymore for the first time in my entire life. And you'll be shocked if you were to stop drinking, I think you would be shocked at how quickly and how dramatically the size and shape of your face and body change when you stop drinking, just because of inflammation and bloating. So, the answers to both of those questions, has it made your skin better and has it helped you with like weight or like changed your weight? The answer is yes. This is a really interesting question. Do you have any new vices or cravings now that you've stopped drinking alcohol? Yeah. And this is crazy because I don't think I was addicted to alcohol. And so, why am I now, for the first time in my life, having a sweet tooth? My whole life, I have never been the girl to order dessert or to want a sweet treat. Not my thing. I am French fries. I am chicken fingers. I am tortilla chips. I am salty. I am crunchy. I am fried. I am not sweet. I've never been into like cake, like at a birthday party or anything. I'm never eating cake. I don't like a lot of desserts. Like, I don't like any Italian desserts, which is like kind of funny and like specific, but it's true. I don't like pie. I don't like cakes. So, like, I've never had a sweet tooth before. The last, I think, like 8 months, 9 months, maybe, I have not been able to shake this obsession with having ice cream after every meal. Every time my boyfriend and I eat dinner, I'm like, should we go to Van Leeuwen? Should we go get milkshakes? Should we go get cookies and cream ice cream in a sugar cone? What, Samantha? Like, I've never cared about ice cream. I've never had ice cream in the house. I've never really like wanted it. Like, if me and my friends go to get ice cream, I'll eat it. But now I'm obsessed with it. So that's interesting. And the other one that I'm obsessed with that's new is caffeine. And I was never really interested in caffeine before. Like, I've never been a coffee drinker, mostly because I don't like the taste. And I was never really into energy drinks because they were super sugary. And now there are a lot more energy drinks on the market. But I'm obsessed with this feeling of being caffeinated. It is like this, it almost like enhances the clarity that I already have from not drinking. And I've become obsessed like every single morning without fail. Caffeine, caffeine, caffeine. And I'm actually trying to train myself right now to like coffee because I didn't grow up in a coffee household. Neither of my parents drinks coffee. So I just never liked the taste of it. And I never understood why everyone was obsessed with it. But coffee, if you can drink it black, is like the healthiest and best way to take caffeine. So I'm trying to train myself to like coffee. And it's a slow, difficult process. I have been, my thing that I get at a coffee shop, since I don't like coffee, is an iced chai latte. I'm getting them dirty now, which means just getting a shot of espresso in there. And I'm just starting to be, like, in a place where, like, that feels normal to me, and a regular chai is, like, gross and too sweet. So I'm definitely getting there, but I'll tell you what, like, I don't think I should be drinking whole milk and a bunch of sugar every morning just to make myself like coffee. So I'm hoping we get through this a little more quickly now that I'm used to, like, the taste of espresso in there. I'm hoping that we can, like, make a bigger leap to just coffee. The other thing I learned is that coffee and espresso are different. No one educated me on that topic. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just be an espresso girl. My boyfriend's coffee order is just like a triple shot over ice or a quad shot over ice if he's having a really sleepy morning. And I didn't know this, but that is not the same as getting coffee. So I don't know. Anyway, it's really weird. Both of these new kind of cravings started after I stopped drinking alcohol. So I've got like a little bit of a sweet tooth now, and I'm obsessed with caffeine. But I also think almost everyone in the world's obsessed with caffeine, and that just might be me getting older and being an adult. So who knows? Has cutting out alcohol helped your anxiety? Anxious girly here, and I have horrible Sunday scaries all the time. Yes. A huge part of not drinking for me is that I choose for myself and I desire in my life to have control over my mind and body all the time. That is just a huge important thing for me in my life. And also beyond that, I am always so clear on what is happening to a T. I can remember the night. I never have questions about like, wait, did I say this? Or like, how did I say it? Was it weird? And I think something that people don't realize when they're drinking, or maybe they do and they just like don't care, is you're not as good at reading the vibes when you're drinking. Even if it's just like two drinks, you'd be shocked at how quickly people lose their ability to read body language, social cues, energy. Now that I don't drink at all, I am always like hyper aware of the energy in the room. And so many of my friends lose that awareness. I'll watch them lose it after 1 drink, after 2 drinks, and it's not a great look, to be honest. Like, not everybody gets super weird, but there are definitely times when I have felt like an energy in the room that my friends are not picking up on, and the next day, I'll be like, "Oh my god, did you notice that?" And they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I prefer to be aware of the energy in the room, and I prefer to be aware of other people's body language. I prefer to be able to kind of read into that and have a full understanding of the context of my situation than to be oblivious to it. I'm more comfortable with that. So, both of those things, feeling in control of them, helps me not have anxiety. All of my anxiety when I was drinking was I okay? Was I weird? Like, were people noticing? Like, did I say anything embarrassing? Like, did I do anything embarrassing? What do they think of me? Like, oh my God, am I an idiot? Am I embarrassing? Like, do I have a problem? Like, I don't have any of that anymore. I never worry about how I was perceived because I know how I acted and I know I acted true to myself. I don't act in a way that strays from like my values when I'm sober. And so if other people don't like me, they actually just don't like me and then I don't need them. Do you know what I mean? So, yes, this has helped tremendously with my anxiety and my baseline general anxiety honest to goodness, like, doesn't really exist anymore because I'm just comfortable and confident in the way I behave and the way I feel and the way other people feel all the time. Do people ever think you're an alcoholic when you tell them that you don't drink, and does that bother you? I feel like people judge me and draw conclusions when I tell them I don't drink alcohol, but I also feel weird getting defensive because there's nothing wrong with people who suffer from SAD, which, if you don't know, is substance abuse disorder. Yeah, I think people probably do sometimes think I suffer from substance abuse disorder, and it does not bother me. If they have judgment for people who suffer from an illness, then I have judgment for them based on that, and also based on the choice that they make all the time to drink poison. I wish you could see my face right now. Uh, like, I think it's kinda crazy if you can't make conversation with another human being without altering your state of mind. And I'm not gonna go and approach you with a level of judgment because you had a drink, but if you are thinking it's weird that I stopped drinking, then maybe I think it's weird that you depend on it to have a personality. Listen, I also think we need to release what other people think of us. We need to, like, let that go. The best way we can control what other people think of us is to behave in a way that is true to ourselves. For me, a big part of that is not drinking because I can always behave in a way that's true to myself when I'm in control of my mind. But beyond that, you cannot control how other people feel, what other people think, what other people do. And there's such freedom in releasing the kind of like desperate need to control that. Once you realize that you can and you just accept that and embrace it and you just control yourself, it's very different. And it's hard to release that feeling of, "Oh my god, I'm worried about what other people think of me." And I think it's worth a whole separate episode. But I think it's a lot more about that than it is about like the alcohol or whatever. Like, I think it would do all of us a lot of good to stop caring so much what other people think about us. And it's easier said than done. So let's do an episode on it. I will put it on my list. This question is awesome and I think is really important. How to overcome social anxiety. The one thing holding me back from going sober curious is how nervous and awkward I am before a date or social event. I've kind of talked about tips for this throughout the episodes. So, like, pick and choose from the episode, like, what you will. But in addition, I have a couple extras. There are 3 here. Number 1 is have a safe friend with you if you can. This is really good for group events. If you can, like, bring someone who's, like, someone you can feel safe being vulnerable and honest with, and you feel close to them, and you feel like they're a safe person for you when you're not drinking, bring that friend with you if you have the opportunity. I have always found that, like, having a designated safe person with me deletes social anxiety. I'm never nervous if my best friend is in the room, ever, because I know I could go to them with anything. They will leave with me if I need to leave. They will not sit at a table that I'm not welcome at. They will take care of me if I need help. They will support me. Have a safe friend with you if you can. The second one, I kind of said it earlier, but I'm going to reiterate, be existential as fuck. Like, literally, who cares about anything at all? But especially like this random social event. You probably won't remember anything about this night in a year, maybe even less. And also, you'll probably never see half these people again, especially if you don't really like them or have a good time. You're never seeing them again. Who cares? Zoom out. You're a speck of dust in a universe that is a speck of dust in someone else's universe. Who cares? We don't need to have social anxiety. I think we made up social anxiety for no reason. We're overcomplicating it. You're just a person in the world, and these are other people in the world. And once you start thinking that way, you forget to be anxious. And then the third one, and this is really like my tip that I'll die on the hill. I call this one microdosing social confidence. If you get socially anxious when you go out to a large group event or on a date, you need to start practicing being confident and social in low pressure situations. This means you're going to start going out in the world and talking to strangers any chance you get. Say extra words to your barista in the morning. Don't just order your coffee. Say something nice, compliment them, ask them a question, anything. Ask someone to pet their dog and strike up a conversation. Doesn't have to be flirty, can just be platonic and nice. Oh my God, what breed is this? Like, oh my God, he's so cute. Most of the time they'll be like, do you have a dog? That's a question I get asked every time I pet a dog. I'm like, oh, my parents have a dog. I grew up with a dog I really love, but like not in New York. Now you're having a conversation with a stranger, right? Right? Another thing, make friends at your workout classes. So many people just go to the gym and leave the gym. If you're going to a workout class, there's usually like a waiting area where you are hanging out with everyone else who's also waiting to go into the class. Chat with someone. If you start microdosing social confidence, eventually you will just have big social confidence. I have like, you know how people say alcohol is social lubricant? I am socially lubed up. I'm slippery. I talk to everyone to the point where my boyfriend is like we'll go out for coffee in the morning before any caffeine, before anyone has said words to each other, and I will be talking to strangers, and he's like, "We're not going to talk to strangers. Like, I have not had my coffee yet. I can't deal with this right now." And I'll be like, "Oh my God, hi. I really love those shoes. I feel like ballet flats are so in right now. Are they comfortable? Where did you get them? Do you feel like they run true to size? Oh my God, you like mine too? Mine are Adidas. Yeah, but if you want a discount, let me put you on. Like, I went to this site." And my boyfriend is like, "I'm gonna go get our coffees, like, please." And he's the most socially lubed up person I've ever met in my life. But I have microdosed social confidence so much now that I could dead serious have a conversation with anyone on planet Earth. I'm the girl who I get into an Uber and the Uber driver is like telling me about their family and their career and talking to me about their hopes and dreams. And they're like, "Oh, I just do this as a side hustle, but I'm actually trying to fund my passion project." And then I'm like, "Oh my God, I have a great marketing idea for this business. Here, take my card." I'm the person. I'm your nightmare person. I talk to strangers. I talk to everyone. I'm at the club dancing on the table, sober. Like, once you start microdosing confidence, you can do anything. And that is how I have been able to approach my life totally sober with more confidence than anyone on earth. This is a great question. How to navigate being sober curious in a relationship where my boyfriend or partner drinks? In my opinion, the first step to being sober curious in a relationship where your partner drinks is explaining why you're doing it to them and explaining how you think it will make you and your life better. I think if you can be earnest about this, then there is no reason that your partner should not be supportive of it. If it makes you happy and it makes you a better person, they should be exclusively in support of that. And if they are not, you need to keep an eye on that. But I would say 9 times out of 10, if you are in a healthy relationship, this person will just say, "I love you and I support you," and that's awesome. After that, I do think it's a good idea, though, to like kind of monitor their behavior around it. And I think if your partner feels triggered or acts a little weird about it, you can always have another convo and use that opportunity to try to figure out why they're acting or feeling weird. It is a lot of times related to their own relationship with alcohol or their own social anxiety. And this actually happens more than you think. People will actually project their own kind of insecurity about it onto you. And they might not even realize that they're insecure. People get real defensive when you start suggesting that. So I don't recommend it. But just something for you to know is that a lot of times it's a projection. If you and your partner are really in love and in a healthy relationship, I find it very hard to imagine them pushing back after being earnest with them like that. And if they do continue to push back or act weird about it, I would consider whether the relationship is really as healthy as you think it is. Because alcohol should in no way be important to your relationship. Something that I think can actually really help with this, if you're nervous about it or like uncomfortable about it, or you feel like there might be a little weirdness, is try doing dry January or sober October together and see how you both feel. This next sentence is just like about my experience in heterosexual relationships, but like I have found that men are always shocked when they stop drinking and then they instantly lose 20 pounds and get like so jacked and ripped at the gym and start feeling like super mentally clear and having energy in the mornings. And then they're like all hype about it. And like women know the struggle. Like as soon as your boyfriend starts trying to do something healthy, he loses 20 pounds. And it's like so fucking annoying. Cause then like he immediately is like looking like a Greek god. And you're like, cool, I'm gonna do this for 6 more months and lose 2 pounds. But you'd be surprised at like how quickly and how often your partner will react positively to doing it themselves. Just like throw the idea out there. See if they'll do it with you. They should do it with you if they love you and it's something you want for yourselves. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question because this episode has turned out to be quite long, but this one is, my friends stopped inviting me out at night. Nobody has said anything specific, but I just noticed them going out more without me and it hurts. Advice? Relatable. This is something that I think a lot of people who stop drinking experience. I would have, again, a serious but not dramatic conversation about it. Like, if you notice one of your good friends, or maybe even several of your good friends, are like doing stuff without you way more than normal after you stop drinking, I would just say to them, hey, like, I really miss you, and I feel like we haven't been seeing as much of each other lately. I don't know what you're up to these next couple weeks, but would love to spend more time with you. Feel free to get specific if you want. If you want to be like, I know I don't drink anymore, but I would still really love to be invited when you go to the bar. And I just like don't have to drink. Like I can still have fun doing that. I think 9 times out of 10, your friend will be like, "Oh my god, honestly, like, we just weren't inviting you to the bar because we didn't wanna put you in a weird situation or make you feel like you had to drink with us," or like, blah, blah, blah. Like, most of the time, they're really nice about it, and they actually thought they were doing something nice for you. But letting them know that you're still open to that kind of hangout might open their eyes to be like, "Oh my god, sorry, that was silly. I should have asked you if you, like, wanted to still come with us," and let you make that decision instead of making it on your behalf. So again, I think an earnest but not dramatic conversation about it can go miles. Another idea is organize things yourself and invite people. If you feel like always your friends are like doing alcohol centric things, well, have you tried planning something that's not alcohol centric and seeing if people come? I have found that my friends are always stoked to do an activity that's not related to alcohol. And there are many of them out there, and I talk about them in the Sober Curious episode, so feel free to look there. I also talk about this in my How to Make Friends as an Adult episode, but try organizing things yourself. And the third thing is make some new friends. I'm not saying you have to replace your friends who drink with new friends who do not drink. I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to have additional friends ever. It doesn't hurt for any reason. But when a reason is value based, for example, like I don't value the role alcohol plays in my life, I actually value doing things sober. And there are other people in the world who value doing things sober. It really would be nice to have some friends who value that same thing as you. So again, you don't have to ditch your other friends unless they're assholes about it, in which case, totally ditch them. But making new friends never hurt anybody. Actually, I am going to do one more question because it's an easy, quick one. Do people expect you to act like your old drunk self when you're out? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they do because I was party girl. I was dancing on tables, and the joke is on everybody because I still do that. I still act very fun and dancy. I basically act like my old drunk self minus the bad parts, right? Like I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna start drama. I'm not gonna like throw up in the bathroom. I'm not gonna have anxiety the next day and call you to like have you reassure me 100 times the next day. But one thing about me is my boyfriend and I both, like, we're the coolest people at a wedding. We're the first on the dance floor and the last on the dance floor. Like, we are out there. Am I drunk? No. Half the people in the room don't know that because the way I dance on a dance floor sober is the way most people act after 3 drinks. Like, most people need the social lubricant. I don't. I don't. So long story short, I guess some people probably do expect me to, like, still be the fun person, and I am. But I don't think anyone expects me to, like, do anything crazy. Like, I think people are probably pretty stoked that I'm gonna, like, do all the fun stuff and then not cry on the way home. That's sick. Anyway, this was a very long and chatty and rambly Q&A, but these are questions I get asked all the time. Like, almost every single one of these was repeated by multiple people. How do you date sober? How do you have social confidence when you're sober? Like, how has it affected your skin and your weight and your nutrition and your lifestyle? These are questions that I think a lot of people want the answer to before they try to stop drinking because it can be intimidating to approach life fully present and mentally clear. There are horrors in the world, right? A drink takes the edge off. I know that to be true, but I like my life with a little edge, to be honest. And 1 year out from going alcohol free, I am happier and clearer and less anxious and more productive and more effective and more deliberate and cooler and smarter than I've ever been before. And I am pretty confident when I say I'm never going back to drinking. And so, anyone who's on the fence, I really do encourage you to at least try it, see how you feel, give it a chance. It changed my life, and I think it can change yours too. But that's it for the soapbox. That is just a little bit of my personal experience. Again, please don't forget if you are suffering from substance abuse disorder, this is not necessarily for you. This is for people who are trying to pursue lifestyle changes. And it's just some stuff I've learned and how I feel after my personal experience removing alcohol from my life. So I hope I answered your questions in a way that is thought provoking and interesting to you. And let me know what you think. Comment on the episode. If you're listening on a platform that allows you to comment, please leave me a comment, shoot me a DM. The best way you can support this show is by leaving me a rating or review or sharing the episode. If you could share this episode to someone that you care about, send them the link, post it on your social. It really means the world to me. That is truly like the best gift you can give anyone who has a podcast. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for giving Caps Lock a chance. If you liked this episode, please stick around for more because we have some really interesting topics on the docket, including friend breakups, nervous system regulation, hair loss, and so much more. Some will be solo episodes and some will feature scientists, founders, experts, doctors, and other very cool, smart people. If there is a topic you want to hear about on Caps Lock, send me a message. And lastly, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Life in Caps Lock. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Leave me a rating or review and tune in next Sunday at 8 a.m. for another episode of Caps Lock. Okay. Love you guys. Talk soon.